Hi Capricorn, welcome to your 2022 year ahead forecast with me, Shanna Cross at Apogee of the Moon. And so we're going to dive right in and get you situated with the PowerPoint I created for you, or not PowerPoint, but PDF, to go over your year ahead. So we're going to start with the general energies of the nodes and the eclipses and what's going on there. And we're also going to talk about all the planets, the retrogrades, things like that. So we'll get there. So to start off the year with, we do have a new moon at 12 degrees in your sign. So this is a brand new beginning for you, specifically a letting go of an old, stuck, stagnant way and a brand new beginning. Well, not necessarily an old, stuck, stagnant way. I've been saying stuck, stagnant with Taurus energy, but this is definitely an ending, a completion, and a new beginning for you specifically in terms of your body, how you move, how you see the world. All areas of life can be affected from this because this is from your vantage point, your first house, wherever your ascendant is, right? So at this new moon, though, the reason I bring this up is because Venus will be at 22 degrees, activating the singularity point, as I've been calling it, where we had Pluto, the Sun, Saturn, and Mercury conjunct in January of 2020. Venus is at that spot, right? So she's at that degree at this point during this new moon. And so there's definitely some very interesting things going on here, themes that could be coming up for you in terms of your physical self, your physical body, you yourself, your mindset as well. Coming up and being reevaluated in a different way than what was going on in January of 2020, right? So if you can remember pre-pandemic, right? Because so much has happened that seems like decades ago now. It's so bizarre. You know, what was going on for you in January of 2020? So whatever was going on, there could be themes that are revisited in a very different way, a resolution point of points for you specifically for yourself and how affected you are by seeing things now differently through the lens through which you walk through the world. So there is that. And then we do have the nodes switching to Taurus and Scorpio. So the nodes are moving out of your 6th and your 12th house of being pulled away from the world, you know, wanting, maybe even releasing old addictions or sabotaging behaviors, right? And so now, or, you know, moving towards a new routine, what it is that you're doing every single day, a new job, a new, you know, health routine, things like that. Now the nodes are moving on from those areas of your life and they're moving into your 5th and your 11th house. So there could be a letting go over the coming 18 months of friendships, of groups, people that you surround yourself with by choice, you know, networking, things like that. You're letting go of specific things there with that Scorpio South Node and moving more towards your fun place, towards your joy, towards what brings you pleasure or what you find pleasurable, or even who you find pleasurable, right? Like this could be, if you're a single Capricorn, this could be someone very sexy, someone very earthy, someone, you know, this could be a person moving into your life or coming into your life, like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, someone that you're introduced to. Whether or not they're here for long term depends on the rest of your chart. But what I'm saying is that this could be someone, or it could be something. It could be a new hobby. It could be a new something that you find absolutely irresistible and you're passionate about it, right? This is your 5th house. This is fun, joy, play. And so with Taurus here, as you know, your 5th house, there can definitely be some very sensual experiences to be had for you. So there is that over the coming 18 months, right? So just be aware of that. There could be some really interesting things going on there for you. And then, you know, February 6th through the 16th, we do have an activation of the eclipse that we had in November of 2021. The nodes will be at 27 degrees of Taurus and Scorpio. So there's an activation going on of this point in your chart. So whatever signs, synchronicities, things that happened could be coming to fruition in a way, or it was a partial lunar eclipse, so it could be coming in like a manifestation of some kind. And so this is happening, you know, at 27 degrees of Taurus, 27 degrees of Scorpio. So there's definitely an activation here going on top of the 27-degree Leo full moon that we're having, which is activating in square to the nodes. Exactly. So there is definitely something going on here in terms of a manifestation point of what's going on in that fifth house. And this is happening from your you know, your 8th and your 2nd house, right? Because Aquarius is your 2nd house and Leo is your 8th house. So there could definitely be themes popping up around power and control, money and resources, boyfriend, girlfriend, children, social networks, right? There's definitely something going on here with this access right now as of February 16th. So just pay attention to that and see what's going on for you in terms of manifesting something to do with that fifth house activation of that partial lunar eclipse in November of 2021. So then the first eclipse that we come into this year is a partial solar eclipse in your 5th house with Uranus, right? This is very wild, very different. This could see money, because Uranus does rule your 2nd house. This could see, you know, big gains or big losses, depending, right? Because you can never, this is the one thing that everybody says with Uranus, and it's so true. You can expect the unexpected, but this is your 5th house. This is a very lucky house for everyone, right? Everybody's 5th house specifically is a lucky house. Depending on what you have going on, it could be more lucky or less lucky. But it's a house of fortuna, right? So there is that, and this is happening with Uranus, and so there could be wild swings in your finances. Maybe you win a jackpot, you win the lottery of some kind, right? It could be something like that. But this is also, you know, this could be a person coming in. This could be a new hobby, something that you're passionate about, something that you are really gung-ho about doing, and you're looking at it as a hobby, but it's something that brings you so much joy that maybe you you know, could be internet famous for it. Could be something like that. Or make money at it somehow, right? Because Uranus is involved and this is in your 2nd house, just in general. But this particular eclipse is really auspicious. It has a lot of trines, a lot of sextiles, a lot of easy energy to be had. The one thing I will say is that Pluto is stationing to go retrograde at this point, and so it can feel a little ominous, like, oh my God, this, like, you're looking a gift horse in the mouth, right? Like there is that kind of energy about it, especially being in your 5th house, where, you know, this eclipse is happening, but, you know, the Pluto is in your sign. So you yourself could be a little more psychic and see what's coming long term with this eclipse. And I'll just put it that way. You could have the vibes going on, Capricorn. May 16th, we do have a total lunar eclipse at 25 degrees of Scorpio. This is happening, you know, with in your 11th house. And so this is social networks, people that you surround yourself with by choice. This could be, depending on where your midhaven point is, this could even be with your midhaven, and it is squaring Saturn in your 2nd house. So there is definitely something over the long term that is going to probably be delayed, probably be, you know, not necessarily said no to, but probably taking longer than you would like going on with this lunar eclipse, a fulfillment of some kind that is taking longer than expected to come out or to be finalized or to be put to bed, things like that. And so we do have Mercury retrograde in Gemini, which is your sixth house of daily routines and things that are going on. So there's definitely some revisions going on for you at the around the time of this lunar eclipse that is being revised in what it is that you're doing every single day. You might need to go back over some different things and work on them a little bit more, or maybe do your due diligence in what it is that you're doing with contracts there in that sixth house of work. And then we do have Venus in Aries. And so this is in your fourth house. So this is squaring your ascendant and descendant. This is in your fourth house of home, family, and property. There could be guilt, shame, vulnerability coming up with Venus here, with Chiron specifically in your fourth house of home and family. This could be it's Venus, so it's not necessarily going to bring like worst case scenario or anything like that. It is in your fourth house. Maybe there is something that's being healed here. Healed, 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 right? And make sure I'm saying that, articulating that in a way that you can understand. So there could definitely be some guilt, shame, or vulnerability on that home front that is being healed, that's being, worked over with Venus. And Venus is the ruler of Taurus, and this is where the sun is. So there could definitely be some themes surrounding children, hobbies, things that you love to do, or even boyfriend, girlfriend. There could be maybe there could be like a sickness or something like that with a child, or with like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or something like that. And then we do have Mars, with Neptune in Pisces. And so this is in your third house of, siblings. So this, all in all, like total makeup of this could actually be one of your siblings' children. Maybe there's something going on there. Or this could be like really very passionate words being spoken. And it's almost like, I don't want to say it's like a fizzle out energy, because Mars with Neptune, it's in your third house. So it's in trine with your descendant, sextile with your ascendant. This could definitely see you having very heated conversations with your siblings, with your extended family members, about things to do with the home and children, or even, there could be, yeah, there could be things like that going on, and even heated conversations with friendship, that or passionate conversation through friendship, because this is a social house, right? The third house, and Mars does rule your 11th house of groups and organizations that you are with by choice. So there could definitely be even a humanitarian effort where you are speaking loudly, like through a microphone, about this, about something to do with the health industry, or even the health and wellness of others. So, or the lack thereof, right? This speaks a lot to humanitarian kind of stuff too. So just so you're aware with that. And then on October 25th, that's all I'm going to say on that, because I could dive into that if I dive into the chart. But I will get to these eclipses, especially in the month ahead forecast that I'm planning on revamping this year and redoing how I do things. So specifically for the month ahead for Capricorn, I would be going over that in April for the month ahead. So there is that. And then on October 25th, we do have that partial solar eclipse in Scorpio. So this could see new beginnings, or endings with what's going on with your friends group, your group associations, humanitarian pursuits. This actually could be a new beginning with a new social group, or a social group that maybe you had been involved with that's coming back around to be reintegrated, right? Because it is with the South Node. Like a network of sorts that's coming back around to be integrated and brought forward with you too. And then on November 28th, good Lord. On November 8th, there is a total lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Taurus with Uranus in square with Saturn, and Mars is now retrograde. This is a really interesting one. So on November 8th, this total lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Taurus is happening in your 5th house. And so there is a big culmination point, a big finalization, a big reevaluation of something that is going on. And it's very wild. It could be fulfilled out of the blue. Like I said, there's this weird energy with you with this 5th house that there could be big wins, like big wins. I don't know why I keep getting that, but yeah, that's what keeps coming up. And then the square to Saturn, Saturn is in your 2nd house, right? So Saturn, this lunar eclipse is squaring Saturn. It's with Uranus and squaring Saturn. So there could definitely be, some very wild things that are happening that have felt like a long time coming. And then with Mars retrograde, Mars is retrograde in Gemini, and this is in your 6th house of your health, your wellness, your daily routine, what you're doing every single day to make money, to live. You're definitely, your health and your wellness. Mental health is here too. So there could definitely be a reevaluation going on, as well as, Mars does rule your 4th house of your parents, your home, your property. Maybe you're working on your home or your property, or you're taking care. Some of you could be taking care of your parents at this point. And some of you could be really pushing towards this humanitarian philanthropist kind of pursuit that some of you could be working on too. So that is there as well. And then we get into the Mercury retrogrades. So starting out the year on January 14th, Mercury will be going retrograde in your 2nd house, and it will be going all the way back to 24 degrees of Capricorn in your 1st house. So this is a reevaluation point for you specifically to reevaluate what it is you're doing with your money, how you're making your money, how you're spending your money, your values, what it is that you truly deeply value in this life, you yourself, because Mercury is going from your 2nd back into your 1st. It's combining those two energies of money, materials, and possessions, and your physical self, your physical body, right? So be aware that that is what is going on here for you. And so there could be big reevaluations that you're doing for your money, yourself, your values, and aligning yourself with your values and what it is that you value truly. And then in May, we will have Mercury going retrograde from 4 degrees of Gemini back to 26 degrees of Taurus. And so this is starting out in your 6th house of what you do every single day, your job, your mental health, your mental wellness. And I mean, especially because it's Mercury here going retrograde, it kind of doubly brings in that mental quality to it. And then it goes back into your 5th house of fun, joy, play. Maybe there's something that needs to be reevaluated going on every single day that you can restructure to do every day that brings you joy, that lights you up, that makes you happy. This could even be reevaluating how it is that you're relating every single day to your children, right? If you have any, and if that's applicable to you, because I know not everyone has kids, right? But it is something that I do want to touch on because traditionally that is what these houses represent. But this could also be significant others in terms of boyfriend, girlfriends. There could be a reevaluation going on of what's going on with them every single day, right? Because it is spanning both of those houses too. So maybe there's something that needs to be done in terms of time spent and who you're spending it with. And then in September, we do have Mercury going retrograde in Libra. Libra is your 10th house of, you know, career, public standing, public reputation. And then it's going retrograde back into your 9th house. So maybe there's something that needs to be reevaluated in terms of how it is that you understand what it is that you're doing out in the world. Maybe there is some education that you need to go back and you need to kind of reevaluate some things there on what it is you're doing out in the world, but how you know what it is that you're doing out in the world, right? Like I can't think of any other way to word it than maybe you need to relearn something for your career. Maybe there's something that you need to go back through and relearn, right? Specifically. And then on December 29th, we do have the final retrograde at 24 degrees of Capricorn, starting out where it's stationed to go direct at January. So there is a big revisit happening at this 24-degree point for you specifically, your physical self, your physical outlook on life, literally. So all areas can be affected, especially if there is, you know, your ascendant sign is anywhere near that 24 degrees. And this is a reevaluation. Also, this is where Pluto went direct in October of 2021, 24 degrees of Capricorn. This reevaluation is going to be touched on at both the beginning of the year and at the end of the year of 2022. So there's something here with this 24 degrees. So if you're near that 24 degree ascendant, this is a big reevaluation for you specifically. And then we have Venus going retrograde in your sign. This is nice. So this is like a cosmic reset for you in terms of your beauty, right? Like when Venus transits your first house, whether or not you're the most gorgeous, handsome person in the world, Venus softens the person, right? Venus brings a very sensual quality to people when it transits the first house, specifically where the ascendant is. And so if your ascendant is anywhere between 26 and 11 degrees of Capricorn, you're getting the added benefit of this. And Venus is stationing to go direct in trine with Uranus in your 5th house. So there's definitely, you know, if you're anywhere, especially closer to that 11-degree mark, there's some really interesting things that could go on here for you in a really big, unique, dynamic way. And the way people look at you will change, right? And the way people look at you in general will change anyway with Venus going retrograde here. And it's a big reevaluation of you yourself. You know, Venus does rule your 10th house of your public standing and public reputation, right? Your career, what you're doing out in the world, and either your position in power and authority or someone else's position in power and authority over you. So with Venus going retrograde here in your 1st house, this is you, right? This is you reevaluating maybe the kind of authority that you take or how you take authority or how you boss up, right? Like just in a general way of putting it, which most people understand versus the power and authority thing. So there is that. And then there's also, you know, Mars this year. Mars is going to go retrograde at 25 degrees of Gemini all the way back to 8. This is happening in your 6th house. If you remember back to 2020, we had Venus go retrograde at this point as well, starting at 25 degrees all the way back to 5 degrees. And then Mercury in 2021 went retrograde again over the same degrees that Venus went retrograde. So now in 2022 into 2023, we're having Mars go retrograde here. So for you, this is happening in your 6th house of your health, your wellness, your daily routine, what you're doing every single day, and you know how you're showing up, right, every single day for your mental health, especially. And I mean especially for you because it is ruled by Mercury, right? Mental health specifically. So there's definitely a reevaluation going on. This could also be a reevaluation of maybe the health of your parents, your health, and the health of really what's going on the home front every single day. Just so you're aware of that. But these two planets specifically are coming together at 14 degrees of Capricorn this year. And so they are coming together at 14 degrees and they are running together from February 14th through March 10th. So almost a whole month, these two planets are running neck and neck with each other until Venus finally pulls away, March 10th and starts, speeding up away from Mars. So we do have that going on. And then they do enter Aquarius together on March 7th. This is reactivating the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that you had in your second house in December of 2020. So this is reactivating, that Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, that 20-year cycle in a different way. This is bringing in, communications. This is bringing in, your career. This is bringing in your home, right? This is bringing in money, materials, and possessions, right? In this house, these two planets coming together here, especially, and activating that point. It's definitely something to make note of around these dates and to know what's going on, because it's kind of like an unfoldment of this part of our charts, right? With these planets specifically being conjunct at these points as well. So there is that. And then for Jupiter is entering Pisces at the end of 2021. And so all the way through until May of 2022, Jupiter will be in Pisces. So whatever taste you had of Jupiter in Pisces in 2021, expect the full meal now, right? Expect what Jupiter offers in terms of luck, optimism, expansion, jovial entertainment in this third house of thinking, speaking, writing, communicating, neighbors, neighborhoods, vehicles, electronic devices, things like that, like general significations of the third house. Jupiter rules this house. So expect maybe your conversations, especially, when Jupiter and Neptune come conjunct around April 12th, expect very highly spiritual conversations with others. And especially if your ascendant is anywhere between, 20 to 25 degrees of Capricorn, expect this to be hitting you in a really nice way in sextile with your ascendant and in trine with your descendant. So this could be really nice conversations with other people, highly spiritual and lucky, and, this, and especially because, this also rules your 12th house. Jupiter rules your 12th house of Sagittarius. So this could definitely be highly spiritual conversations for you specifically. And then it will enter Aries, and Aries is your 4th house. So there could definitely be some things going on, behind the scenes, at home, on the home front, in the home, with your parents, lineage, things like that, property even, between May 11th and October 29th when it re-enters Pisces. So there's definitely, if you have any planets or points anywhere near 8 degrees of Aries, this is where Jupiter will be stationing to go retrograde. This can definitely see a reevaluation of whatever expansion is happening there for you in terms of the home front and on the home front. So I can't shake that some of you Capricorns are going to be having kids, either adopting or having them. I can't shake that. So I'm just going to say it. And then Saturn. So Saturn is coming off of the square to Uranus in your 5th house. This is in your 2nd house. So Saturn has really been asking you to be very diligent with your finances, with your money, with your values, what it is that you value in general at that core level. And so with Saturn coming off the exact square to Uranus, this is, we can feel the burden of limitation here in the 2nd house, especially with Saturn. Maybe the finances haven't been coming in the way you want them to come in. And so now that Saturn is moving direct, now that it's coming off of that, that wild ride with Uranus, it's coming off the exactness of it. And so things could start to move forward here. Things could start to straighten out as long as you're doing your due diligence in terms of what it is that you're doing with your money, your finances, and your possessions. Saturn will station to go retrograde at 25 degrees of Aquarius, and it will go direct at 18 degrees of Aquarius. So definitely expect that there's going to be some really interesting developments, especially between that 18 and 25 degrees if you have any planets or points there. in that second house, or even in any of the fixed signs, or if you have them, you know, in any of the earth signs, or not earth signs, air signs, sorry. So Libra and Gemini, or even Aquarius itself. And then if you have any in, you know, the fixed signs of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, if you have anything there, expect there to be developments with what those planets represent and the houses that they're in. And then for Uranus, we do have it starting out the year in retrograde. It is stationing to go direct on January 18th, which means under the whole month of January, we are under this really crazy, liberating, shaking up of this area of our charts. For you, this is your 5th house. I mean, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. This is shaking up maybe a stuck, stagnant thing that's been going on with your relationships, with your boyfriends or your girlfriends, with your sex routines, with, I mean, I say that and people are going to go crazy, but it is what it is. I'm just calling it the way I see it. So this is what this house represents. It represents our children, fun, joy, play, sex, all of that, right? Romantic partnerships that are boyfriend, girlfriend, love affairs in general. And so this is kind of really shaking up what it is that's going on there for you. And so right out of the gate, you know, at the beginning of 2021, the end of 2020, or the end of 2021, the beginning of 2022, this is very much, this is shaking things up for you. And so it does go retrograde at 18 degrees of Taurus. So anywhere between 10 to 18 degrees of Taurus this year, expect there to be more liberating experience, more sense of freedom of expression for you, especially. And then we have Neptune, and Neptune is in Pisces. This is in your 3rd house of your siblings, your communications. Things have been very, I mean, this is in trine with your descendant. So, and in trine with your group associations. So this is definitely a very interesting energy for you specifically, having those really highly spiritual conversations and feeling really good about what it is that you're saying or the conversations that you are having. This is kind of a feel-good energy for you, because it is in a social house. So just be aware though that sometimes Neptune can bring, especially if you have any heavy influence in any of the cardinal signs, that would be Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn. Or no, not cardinal. What am I thinking of here? Sorry, guys. No, in any of the mutable signs of Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So if you have any planets or points in those signs, expect there to be like confusion and like what the heck kind of moments. Like, I thought it was one way, but it's really another kind of thing going on here. So expect that. If it's in trine, right? If it's in the water sign, specifically, if you have anything in Cancer or in Scorpio or even in Pisces, there could be really feel good energy. And these are your social houses anyway. So there's a lot of really beautiful, emotional, supportive kind of conversations that are happening in your partnerships and with the people and groups that you associate with. So just so you're aware of that. And then Pluto is starting out at 25 degrees of Capricorn, getting all the way to 28 and going back to 26. So there's definitely, you yourself are going through a reevaluation. You yourself are kind of clearing away the rubble, clearing away what's going on with you, specifically your physical body, getting rid of anything that is toxic out of your system, out of your body, things like that, especially if you're a late degree Capricorn, especially between 25 and 28, but really between 26 and 28. So expect there to be like cleansing of toxic everything, right? Toxic people, toxic things, toxic places, things like that, getting rid of them, and being left with the core value of you and what you are. specifically. So that is what I have for you, Capricorn. So I really hope that you enjoyed this. I hope you give it a like, share, subscribe. And I hope to see you around in the monthly forecast. So thank you and have a great year. Bye now.